Thank you very much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Federico Venturieri, and thank you to this Relationship Management in the Age of AI webinar. My name is Federico Venturieri, and I'm co-presenting today with my friend from Squirro, Miguel. Just quickly about myself, for those who don't know, so I'm an industry business development lead for financial services for EMEA at Salesforce, and I'm one of the industry experts that we have on financial services. Miguel?
Thanks, Federico. I'm Miguel Rodriguez. I'm the Chief Sales Officer at Squirro, and I lead sales, business development, and partner management here at Squirro.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to be covering the first part of this webinar, talking about Salesforce, what do we do in financial services, especially when it comes to relationship management and AI. And then the second part will be led by Miguel, who's going to be talking about how Squirro and Salesforce can really power relationship management. So without further ado, let's get started. So at Salesforce, we've had tremendous success across the whole spectrum of financial services. That means across, from B2C all the way to B2B, from more consumer-focused type of institutions to the institutional focused type of institutions, also larger firms, smaller firms, all across. So we were very, very proud of the success and the footprint that we've had in financial services. And today we're talking about relationship management, so we'll focus on asset management, but also wealth management. I think that both kind of very high touch B2B or B2C type of relationships. And this is a place where a subsector where Salesforce has a tremendous track record. You can see some of the logos there. We're very proud of our track record in asset management, especially institutional asset management. We've done, we've done very well, and we actually have 15 out of the top 20 largest asset managers by AUM on Salesforce. Not only that, but also in wealth management and private banking, we have significant penetration there. You see some of the logos there, a lot of them in Europe, a lot of names that you would know very well are powered by Salesforce. And finally, which I think something that is also of interest to the audience, we also work with most of the top firms on the sell side in the capital markets and investment banking. Some of the names you will see there, I'm sure you will recognize as well. So I think Salesforce in financial services, it's one of our largest industries and is absolutely a focus for us. Now, in terms of challenges, so wealth and asset managers face really four main challenges today. The first one is, new client expectations. So that's both in the B2B and B2C worlds, by the way. I think the challenges around new client expectations are that clients expect the same level of service, same level of personalization and engagement from their wealth manager, or in a B2B setting from the institutional asset manager, as they would from, say, their interactions with companies and financial institutions in their private lives. So, I'm using, say, a Monzo, Revolut, or an N26 type of app in my personal life. Well, I want to interact with my wealth manager, for example, in the same way. I want to have access to the latest technology in that type of interaction as well. So personal attention, impeccable service, of course, and an understanding of their unique circumstances. That's both me as an individual, say in a wealth context, or me as, say, an institutional asset management client. I want the asset manager to really understand who I am, what are my needs, and cater to my needs. The second one is around productivity. In the theme today is relationship management, right? And the relationship managers, the advisors typically are being pressured by things like regulation, rising client expectations that we just said, and they often don't have the necessary tools to work productively. So it's really one of the main challenges today. Thirdly, I think rapid digital innovation, and this is where I think this, together with COVID, which is the fourth challenge, really has accelerated over the past few months. We see rapid digital innovation as possibly a challenge, but of course an opportunity as well. So the difference really between the winners and the laggards is higher than ever before. Now, looking at COVID, so we see that COVID exacerbates the existing trends in the industry. So, things like an impact to margins and fee income, that's the obvious one. With the high volatility in the market, you have, move from more active fund management to more passive fund management, but also on the wealth side, you have, for example, a lot of sales and redemptions. So assets under management might have gone down for some of these shops. And in general, just managing those client relationships, managing this trust is very, very important. I was speaking to a wealth manager who had an issue that, their advisors, and this was earlier in the crisis, on the COVID crisis, their advisors were overwhelmed with how much, psychological support they had to provide to their clients. So, just kind of in terms of bandwidth and also having all these discussions while working from home, while being in this entire new world, and not having all these tools that you would have in the office, it is very, very difficult. So higher operational agility requirements have also come into play. But especially we see that COVID exacerbates the trends that I just mentioned earlier. So client expectations keep going up. Communication shifts from physical to digital channels, and also the expectation from the end customer or the end client, for convenience, for always on service, and for very high quality service digitally and remotely. Secondly, advisor productivity tends to dip further down, especially in such high regulated industries, right? Where advisors typically don't necessarily have these mobile or remote working capabilities that they need, and they still need to communicate and interact with their clients in a compliant manner, which can be quite a challenge. And finally, rapid digital innovation. This actually accelerated. That's what we've seen through the crisis, with COVID exposing the digital gap between the leaders and the laggards. And also firms that traditionally relied on physical relationships find that, today 100% of your clients are digital. So this is no longer a differentiator. Now, it's become more and more difficult today for wealth and asset management firms to reach their clients and prospects. I think the reason for that is that while technology has provided a lot of opportunities for them to engage with their clients, it's actually difficult, more difficult than ever, we found, for them to actually reach their clients in an effective way. Part of the reason for that is the proliferation of digital channels, digital messages through email, websites, social media. It's very hard to get your message heard by your clients. And that's the case on a B2B setting, say on a wealth management, but also on the institutional asset management side. So there's an ever increasing market of market perspectives, of, from traditional media sources, from premium data providers as well, that I'm sure a lot of you, spend a lot of money on. And at the end of the day, it's very hard for clients and prospects to just go through all this noise. And it's hard for asset managers or wealth managers to make themselves heard. So these are two symptoms of a bigger picture, which is competition. It's harder than ever to differentiate yourself in terms of your product offering, in terms of, fees and so on. So I think the real differentiator here will have to be client service, the level of service that you provide, and also the level of personalization that you can provide. But on top of that, there are inherent challenges to actually progressing to that stage. And there are three here that I'd like to highlight. The first one is typically relationship managers spend a lot of time to pull out information on a client. I was speaking to a wealth manager just a few weeks ago saying that they need to spend a few hours to prepare each of their quarterly meetings with their high net worth individuals. That means that, scalability is out of the question when wealth managers, relationship managers within wealth need to spend hours to prepare just that one meeting. So that reduces employee productivity, and that also creates a potential loss of market share because you have relationship managers that are just not informed enough. They cannot possibly, find all the information that they need before those crucial meetings. This also brings me to the second challenge, which is it's difficult to maintain and grow these relationships because meetings are hard to schedule. There's so much noise around. How do you target the right clients? How do you target the right prospect on the right channel? All that is very difficult, and it's often too much for a human, especially one that covers, hundreds of potential accounts, to actually give the right focus onto each of them. So this causes often an inconsistent client experience. And finally, you have these inefficient and very often very burdensome legacy systems to maintain, both on the wealth asset management, but also on the capital markets. This is a general industry problem that we have, but just supporting these hundreds of integrations, these hundreds of applications, and often in-house, built in-house, that already saps a lot of the budget and a lot of productivity from IT teams typically, and leads to reduced employee and client satisfaction. So when you add all these challenges together, right, what happens is relationship managers today typically do a lot of these things, a lot of tasks that have zero or very low economic value, like manual tasks. They stitch data together, they rekey information several times, and they waste a lot of time while traveling because they often don't have mobile capabilities. But instead, what they should be doing is they should be enabled to work from anywhere, from their mobile. They should be able to prioritize where do they spend their time based on past data, based on analytics, based on artificial intelligence. They should be able to collaborate with each other on an opportunity instead of fighting with each other for a given patch, for example, or just creating silos within the organization. And most importantly, they should be able to know what actions they need to take that will then result in inflows. So this is really kind of where we should be getting at in terms of relationship management. Now, why is this important? We think the time to act is now. And looking at these two charts, I think it makes a pretty compelling case for actually focusing on digital going forward if there needed to be such a compelling case. The first one is quite simple. The top third of spenders in terms of technology in the asset management space has consistently outperformed the bottom third of spenders in terms of AUM, net new AUM. So if you're a top spender asset manager, you actually got more inflows on average than your peers in the bottom. This in itself is already a fairly strong business case, but it's made even stronger when you look at not just technology investment, but actually being a data-driven company and using data and analytics as the primary way to drive your relationship managers. So the second chart is, the actual institutional client tenure is significantly higher, up to 3 years higher on average, for those firms that prioritize analytics and data for their sales and distribution teams. So that means that if you're an asset manager who is just working if your way of working very much relies on maybe relationships and those kinds of things that reside in your RM's head, well, you might be actually at a loss in terms of not focusing on the right account, and especially providing an experience that is subpar. So our vision for the successful wealth and asset manager of the future is that they will need new capabilities to win in this new paradigm. Our vision is this: all these functionalities, all these capabilities that you see there, things like the ability to leverage all existing data, internal and external, is very important. And Miguel will talk to you more about this, but also really leveraging artificial intelligence, not just through the use of data scientists on a corner, and not just for trading strategies and things like that, but also to enhance performance and productivity across the firm. And of course, leveraging all this data that is being created to find out efficiencies and then streamline and optimizing processes along the way. Now on to Salesforce and how can Salesforce help. In response to all these needs that you can see there, around this slide, we believe that the Salesforce platform is the best solution to enable this high-touch relationship management organizations like wealth and asset managers to deliver on their promise. So, Salesforce started as a CRM. You can see there on the top the sales bit, but it's now evolved, and we now have market-leading products in service, in marketing, and also we have specific industry-focused products, including financial services cloud. So we really think that the strength of the platform that we have, the fact that it is one platform with multiple kind of products that sit on top of this platform, it really allows our clients to put their clients at the center of everything they do and achieve this client centricity. So we call it the single source of truth, but really having our entire ecosystem built around the client is what we think makes Salesforce the best partner for digital transformation in high-touch relationship management. Now, before I hand over to Miguel, On top of the platform that I just showed you earlier, Salesforce is also an ecosystem. And on Salesforce, something that we call the App Exchange. We have thousands and thousands of partners, many of them fintechs. You see many of the logos there, one of them being Squirro. And these companies, these fintechs, have built on top of Salesforce connectors that connect and seamlessly with Salesforce and with the Salesforce data model, with all the data that you have put onto your CRM, and really allows these financial institutions, be it wealth managers, institutional asset managers, capital markets, investment banks, connect to fintechs in a way that they never managed to do before. So we see ourselves as the bridge, and our App Exchange very much as the bridge between financial institutions, traditional incumbents, and innovative fintechs. So now to tell you more about one of these fintechs, so Squirro, one which is extremely relevant and valuable to us as a partner, I'll invite you, Miguel, to take over.
So thanks a lot for already covering a lot of ground and explaining already some of the challenges that relationship managers fail. So I would like to continue on that path and also spend a bit of time explaining why data-driven companies are so successful. So today we are really in this world of data overflow. Federico mentioned it already. We have a lot of different data sources available: internal data sources, external, premium data sources, and information and insights have really become the most valuable asset for successful companies. And as we already saw before, data-driven companies are really outperforming their competitors in the most relevant KPIs. Besides the KPIs already shown by Federico, we also see here a couple others. Data-driven companies are 23 times more likely to acquire customers. They are 19 times more likely to be profitable and 3 times more likely to generate above average turnover growth, but also 2.6 times more likely to have a significantly higher return on investment than its competitors. So we have seen already that data-driven companies are super successful, but unfortunately the truth is that a lot of companies are not really making a lot out of it. And a lot of users specifically, they're really drawn in data and they don't know what to do with it. Despite the fact that so much data is available than ever before, the reality is completely another one. Just 1% of this data is actually used. So you might ask yourself, data is the world's most valuable asset for companies. Data-driven companies are outperforming its competitors, but only 1% is used. Something must be broken. So what is it? We see that one of the main challenges the companies face is that data sits in a lot of different data silos. A lot of those are legacy systems. And one of the main problems is that this data is unstructured, textual data. And this causes a lot of problems for companies to stitch together this data, as we already heard before, when Federico said that users spend a lot of time to stitch data together to prepare meetings. An additional problem is that a lot of these challenges have been tackled with a technology focus. So things like data warehousing, big data, or nowadays also artificial intelligence have been thrown at the problem, but they really did not solve it. Because what does it help you to have a data warehouse or a big data solution if you don't have a way to really activate the data and leverage it? And this is where we see the problem, because the business user itself is for sure not able to operate with such solutions. And another thing is that with this technology-focused approach, we have also started to see that fear has been spread in the industry. A lot of people, and especially relationship managers, didn't embrace artificial intelligence or machine learning because of all those negative reports that say that machines will replace humans and there will not be any need anymore for relationship managers. And that's something that we don't believe at all here at Squirro. We firmly believe in empowering relationship managers and using the power of machine learning and artificial intelligence to make them superhumans. So our approach is really centered around the user. we want to help relationship managers to spend time in the most interesting task, spend more time with the customers, instead of spending time looking through a lot of irrelevant data, going through silos, and doing repetitive tasks. So how do we do that? We do this with our approach to the topic, which is called augmented intelligence. As outlined, augmented intelligence is all about human enhancement. And we do human enhancement in the areas that make a human. As an example, memory is enhanced through our 360-degree client cockpit, where we bring all data together from all those different data silos. But that's not enough. We also help people to increase their perception and understanding through data insights, while we analyze all this information in context of the user. And we even help them to anticipate the market and be ahead of the competitors by providing data-driven recommendations that can be used for lead generation. Also, other areas that we enhance are problem-solving and decision-making through our solution framework and next best action capabilities. One key to really activate all the data, either within a company or outside of the company, and make it really usable and actionable, is context. Context is really important. We see that in our day-to-day lives, we embrace artificial intelligence and machine learning already at a very good grade. Why do we do that? We do it because they provide us value. The information that is presented to us is in our context. The recommendations that they provide us are insightful in context of our interests. And we use them because the interaction with the devices is seamless and it doesn't require any expert skill. You simply ask a question, get an answer, or simply a notification recommendation pops up on your mobile phone. And this is exactly what we see also as the future of the relationship manager, a seamless interaction with the technology so that insights, recommendations, data is provided in context in an actionable and tangible way. So what do we offer? We offer, first of all, business-oriented applications. We contextualize information and we eliminate digital noise. We enhance core systems like Salesforce with augmented intelligence. And we enable business users to understand, to access, and act upon their data. And our mission is really to turn this meaningless data into actionable insights. And we achieve this through 6 powerful product suites. For all departments within the companies, like sales, risk, service, marketing, or broader, also just solutions that cover one of the most painful tasks that we have in the companies, which is search. So today we'll focus a bit more on customer insights as we are on the topic of relationship management. And the cornerstone of our offering in customer insights, our pre-trained augmented intelligence applications that have predefined connectors, pre-trained models, and predefined visualizations, so that companies can really have a head start when they want to use augmented intelligence. It's not only our view that augmented intelligence is really the way to unlock the power of your data, but it's also Gartner, one of the leading analysts, that says the same. As AI technology evolves, augmented intelligence will deliver the greatest benefits. CIOs should prioritize augmented intelligence to scale people's work and talents as the top AI contribution to growth of business volume, quality, and innovation. I think that's a very strong message that's provided here by Gartner, clearly stating that augmented intelligence delivers the greatest benefits and giving to CIOs the recommendation to go for augmented intelligence to really get the best out of the data and of their investments. So how does this come together with Salesforce? Salesforce is not only one of our greatest partners, but also an investor in Squirro. And we represent here properly how we work with Salesforce. So initially, we have all those disparate systems, like data warehouse systems. We have premium data that we purchase. What's the problem with this? So data warehouses mostly only contain internal data and structured data. In many cases, they don't have strong search capabilities, analytical capabilities, or visualization capabilities. And therefore, they don't also provide a tangible benefit for the user, since the user cannot work with those technology-focused applications. With premium data, we've been the same. So it's a system that stores data, so system of record. It doesn't have business context, so everybody purchasing the data set will get the same data set. And therefore, it could have a better return on investment if you really activate it and put it in context. So the first step that we do is we can gather all this data together from all internal, external, and premium data sources. And we bring this into Salesforce, in this case, into the Financial Services Cloud, to allow to have one single source of truth where all the information is gathered around the customer. So it can be faster, more efficient when preparing meetings, and have better insights to have more informed client conversation. What do we achieve when the data is added to Salesforce? First, we provide cognitive and conversational search across all data silos in one place. Second, we analyze all the data, not only 1%, but also the 95% of unstructured data the companies have. And third, we enhance Salesforce with our dashboards and our recommendations to truly enhance, as an example, asset management or wealth management or other areas of banking and make them become really data-driven. Here we have an example of a relationship manager that could be enhanced through our capabilities. So what do we do for him? We are able to originate leads. We are able to detect talking points. We create a 360-degree client advisor dashboard. We help to prevent churn while understanding all the data. We can detect the client network. We activate the premium data, and we can enhance into the core system that is used. All of it, as said, with an approach to enhance the capabilities of the relationship manager in a simple to use, tangible, and actionable way. For this, we would like to show here an example on how that looks like and how we can activate the premium data investment. We have here an event transcript from Thomson Reuters, in this case, from a company. And as most banks face it today, they have associates, they have analysts that need to read manually through these long pieces of text. It's super time consuming, and it's quite a waste of time because there could be more interesting tasks that they could be doing. So what do we do? As outlined, we have strong partnerships with the premium data vendors of this world and a lot of connectors out of the box. We have pre-trained models for the most relevant events, and we can apply them straight away to such pieces of information to detect, as an example, that this company has topics appearing like lawsuit, natural risks, or equity. And with just one click, Squirro will bring you directly to the sentence highlighting the event. So this is a great example of a recommendation that we can provide, fully embedded within Salesforce, and it means a direct call to action for the relationship manager to start the conversation with this customer. All of this enhanced through the additional capabilities that we have around 360-degree client cockpit and our search capabilities really will make the relationship manager data-driven and will help to solve some of those challenges that Federico outlined at the beginning. With this, we would like to thank you, and please ask your questions through the panel.